Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
What shall we build, you and I? Let's gather all our tools for a start, for putting together and taking apart.
Hi, Oliver. It's wonderful to have you here. So we're talking about your new book that's coming out, What We'll Build. Since we're living in the pandemic currently, it sounds like a story of resilience and hope where, we build things which will come in handy, in tough times. That's a message which I got. So tell me, how did the book come to you and what does it mean to you?
Well, Here We Are was written for my son, and that was about the shift in mind that comes when being a parent for the first time, and how you have to, when you're parenting, you realize that you're responsible for teaching these children everything, and how little they know. And so it was dealing with the immediacy of explaining the planet to as it is right then. But with What We'll Build, it was much more about looking towards the future. It was much more about the potential for what this relationship would be with me and my daughter. And at the back of my mind, I was partly aware that if I didn't write her a book, I'd get it, hear all about it when she was older. Like, how come he got a book and I didn't? But it very much is about two people, or one person really, saying their joint plans. And because oftentimes, I don't know about you, but just saying your intentions out loud helps you feel better. And that's something that I always do, and it's something I started doing with my daughter, and recognizing that the future isn't going to be all rosy, but there's going to be dark times. But what we do then is we use the happy memories and the good things that will happen as a way to get through those more trying times.
A lot of parents are concerned about that, about preparing their children for an unknown future, because things are not what they seem, and because of the pandemic that we live in currently. So, any message for parents who are, like you, who are dealing with such topics?
Well, I think we just have to try and be as resilient as possible and as honest as possible that the future is unknown. But if we can get through this, then hopefully the world in which we emerge will be a much better one than the normal world in which everybody hopes to return to. Because in the normal world, as we knew it about half a year ago, only worked for some of the people, not all of the people. But as far as getting through these times and through parenting, for me anyway, we're taking some joy in being around our kids more than we would have been had it been the old life, with stuck at work and with kids gone in school and after school classes and so on. So we're taking joy in being around our children so much. But I just hope that there's enough of a shift in the way in which people think that will help the future that we emerge into just be a healthier society.
Books like yours, they address several difficult themes, right? And through a book, a parent can probably introduce various such themes. You've dealt with grief, you've dealt with loneliness, and so many other themes through your book. So, I mean, even Lost and Found is about friendship. It's a very touching story about the penguin and the boy. And you've also, I think, written about your losing your mother at a very young age. You've also talked about that. So would you like to talk about
not directly?
Yeah, not directly. But
I don't speak about any of these things directly. It's more coming at them sideways, and it's yes. I don't. When I'm making a book, I don't sit down and think, what do other people need from me? It's more of a way that I share what I'm going through at that point. And I think because of the absolute honesty with that I think that lets other people in and helps them with their experience. So it's I don't necessarily have anything to teach, but just by showing the process that I go through, I think it might help other people.
Picture books, like you've also mentioned, are also read by adults. Right. So how do you see yourself? You're just telling a story, or do you particularly keep in mind that you're telling a story to children?
I do not keep in mind that I'm telling a story to children. I in fact, quite openly don't do that. I don't even keep in mind that I'm telling a story to anybody else. I just, as I say, it's quite an insular process that I'm trying to tell a story that I would find interesting and economical and aesthetically pleasing. And I think in doing that, other people can attach themselves to the story and come along for the journey. And so I almost, even to the point, try to refrain to what I do is I don't say that I make children's books, but that I make picture books, because then anybody can read them.
Interesting, because we live in a generation where we're taking selfies all the time. We're obsessed with capturing every moment, every meal. So
Yeah.
that's interesting, really. You're talking about memory.
It is.
Yeah.
And how often will anybody go back and look at all of those photographs of themselves? And it's not like finding a box of photographs in your grandparents' attic, because some future grandchildren will come along and find a phone, and they may not know how to get access to it or how to look at those pictures, and they certainly won't be any names written on the back of who everybody is. So yes, it's a very there's an immediacy to the way in which people deal with image taking right now that is very short-lived, and so just the notion of what it is that you remember and the filter through which you apply any memories is very transient at the minute, as the world is shifting.